It is my pleasure to hand over the webinar to Eldo.
Imagine a future where every student is empowered with the knowledge and skills to navigate the complex job market of tomorrow. Now, this session aims to shed light on how we can collectively achieve that and prepare our students for this future. One of the truest measure of being in a meaningful career would be actually the job satisfaction experience at the workplace. However, when we actually consider the job market of today, one of the greatest concern is an alarming increase in job dissatisfaction. It is beneficial to look at the career puzzle in terms of solving the four W's: the what, the where, the who, and the why. All too often, parents and students end up ignoring the more important aspect of trying to figure who the student is in terms of the uniqueness and also the real important why of the student, the values, and the specific motivations of the student. Now, before making choices in subject streams in university courses, it is important to figure the who and the why aspects of the student. We, as educators and career counselors, should actually help each student explore and develop their personal career mission statement early in their high school years itself. Each student is unique in his or her way. Now, one way to look at this uniqueness of each student is to consider what we call the unique natural potential of each student. Now, as you can see, this is the convergence of three aspects of each student: their personality, their interest, and finally their skills or aptitude. Now, since each of these three aspects will be different for each student, it naturally follows that the convergence of these three aspects will lead to identifying something that's very unique about that particular student, what we call their unique natural potential. Aptitude relates to capability in a career. The interest circle relates to motivation in a job. Personality relates to satisfaction in a career. Identifying this uniqueness is important when we talk about identifying any careers for a particular student. How can we discover a student's unique natural potential? In other words, how can we identify the student's personality, career interest, and aptitude? This is where the psychometric assessments come in. Now, these assessments help us identify a student's personality, interest, and aptitude in a scientific manner. Psychometric assessments are indispensable to the career counseling process as they help both the counselor and the student understand the student's real capabilities, interests, and personality type. These are aspects which the student might otherwise would have overestimated, underestimated, or even ignored. Right? One of the most trusted and widely accepted assessments for personality is a Myers-Briggs type indicator. It's more commonly known as MBTI. 90% of Fortune 100 companies utilize MBTI for team building, career development, and leadership training. Understanding a student's mental function or personality trait through MBTI assessment would help to identify the ideal career fields that would suit the student's personality and hence would be ideally suited for the student to pursue later in their lives. The strong interest inventory assessment is one of the world's most trusted career planning tools. As you can see on the screen, it features 6 occupational themes that actually reveal students' preferred work environments. Now, it also contains another section of 32 basic interests, which narrow down specific areas of interest of the student. It also deals with 6 personality scales, which interpret students' preferred style of working, their preferred style of learning, leading, risk-taking, and team participation. And finally, the 243 occupational scales compare the students' interests in 243 occupations. Strong interest inventory provides a comprehensive 17-page report, 17-page report, covering all these 4 sections in detail. Now, speaking about our company, Vedatma, we have assisted thousands of students across this process over the last 7 years, both in India and abroad. How does Vedatma stand out from the rest? I mentioned we rely on MBTI assessment to identify personality types And we actually rely on strong interest inventory to determine career interest. Hallmark actually is highly personalized one-on-one counseling. Now, unlike group counseling, we conduct individual counseling sessions with each student. These sessions are conducted online through our technology platform, which is actually integrated with Zoom. Once a student completes these assessments, personalized one-on-one counseling sessions are scheduled based on the mutual availability of the student and the counselor. So there's a lot of flexibility there. A counselor spends over 5 hours with each student across it's not all at one go, it's spread across 3 sessions on different days. One major differentiator for Vedatma is our counselors themselves. All our counselors, as I mentioned earlier, are seasoned professionals, and they are all certified in MBT and strong assessment, which is a requirement. Even after the counseling sessions, students enjoy lifetime access to our technology platform. They can just log into their dashboard to access their various reports generated during the process. Along with, we provide continued email support as well. We have integrated an advanced AI platform on the student dashboard, enabling students to search for university courses, admission procedures, career growth opportunities, or any other queries related to their particular identified. Finally, we identify careers for them, and they can go beyond that using AI to search more stuff on that particularly best fit careers which we have identified for them.
Technology has been rapidly changing and the job landscape is changing. In this scenario, how necessary is it for a student to have technical skills like coding or skills of that nature for future job prospects?
Without saying, as intelligent automation brings about unparalleled changes, the nature of jobs itself would undergo substantive changes, right? The skills needed in all these jobs would constantly change, as actually technology will cover more aspects of the job, and human element will be pushed into behavioral skills like ability to work in team environments, ability to prioritize, ability to change, and adaptability to change, things like that. Technical skills have to be constantly updated, relearned, and most likely even be totally discarded to learn completely new skills. Let's say technical skills are increasingly becoming important, but for the long term, it is even more important to focus and develop behavioral skills. One common way to understand behavioral skills is to think about the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. Behavioral skills are becoming more valuable than ever because they are harder to automate.
Some students don't seem to have any career direction. They don't know what the next step is. They seem to be confused and they talk about different interests. Career counseling give them that clarity in these cases?
This could be because different interests may be pulling them in different directions. Now, doing a psychometric assessment would help them to narrow down their interest to specific areas of interest. This would help the student identify and differentiate their leisure interest and work. Within work interest, using a psychometric, what like I discussed about strong interest inventory, the student will be able to explore something like 243 occupation. In this process, the student will be exposed to the world of work. Sometimes, Lisa, it is sometimes the lack of awareness about occupation that limits choices by students also, and which makes them confused. So very necessary to figure out which of these careers, which is interest, which they like, actually match their personality and skills. For this, the student needs to undergo a personality assessment and skill mapping for sure. This actually would allow the discovery of what we called earlier, the unique natural potential. Once a student can understand their true potential and how it matches with certain careers, now, then the clarity would come in. They can confidently choose the study streams and related career paths in which, remember what I talked about, in which they will be capable, motivated, and satisfied.